Hey, what's up, legends? Thanks for being here. This is Mundo Maldini, your channel. I just finished commenting on this match between Atlético de Madrid and Sevilla. It was an epic match, incredible, spectacular. Atlético de Madrid 4, Sevilla 3, with that last goal from Antoine Griezmann. I was saying on Copy, Sevilla played a good first half, but Atlético de Madrid was a whirlwind in the second half, and of course, they were almost not going to win. They scored in stoppage time, but if you're going to win, it's better to win like that. This team seems unstoppable right now. Atlético de Madrid seems unstoppable. I want to talk about a bunch of things. Cholo's changes have been spectacular, to be honest. What Antoine Griezmann did, what Barrios did, he really stepped up in the second half. When he was on the field with Paul, he was honestly great. I think he's improving a lot with the ball from Paul. So it was a match that was a real party for Atlético de Madrid. And speaking of a party, you know that we are, and I say this with a lot of pride, we are ambassadors for Ceuta, for the city of Ceuta, and for Ceuta, the team that won against Ibiza today. They sent us these images from the locker room. Ceuta won 3-0 today against Ibiza, and you're going to see the images. Here they are. It was a tremendous victory against Ibiza, January 3rd, with 2 goals right at the end after the great match that Ceuta played. By the way, they had a fantastic game against Osasuna. They almost knocked Osasuna out. And in the end, Ceuta won 3-0 against Ibiza today. I've told the people of Ceuta, the players, the president, and everyone that we're already preparing for promotion. We're going to do it with the walls over there, and everything is ready. So the pressure is on the players. That long-awaited promotion, we'll see. I hope the team can get promoted to the second division of Spanish football. We have to trust, of course, just like the Atlético de Madrid fans are trusting, obviously, because it's 9 straight wins for Atlético de Madrid, 9 straight wins for Cholo Simeone's team, who had a great second half today. They had some issues in the first half, but we also have to acknowledge the really good match that Sevilla played. Great match that Sevilla played, especially in the first half. Then the team started to sit back more and more, and in the end, they ended up losing the match. Let's take a look at the lineups, friends of Mundo Maldini. Here are the lineups. Atlético de Madrid with Oblak, Llorente, Jimenez, Lenglet, who I think is going to bring a lot to the team, and Javi Galán. In midfield, February 4th, very clear with Gallagher on the left, Pablo Barrios, who struggled quite a bit to get into the game with such a high-paced match, but well, Pablo Barrios, De Paul, then in the second half he improved, and Simeone was causing a lot of trouble down the right side. And up front, Julián Alvarez and Antoine Griezmann, who in the end was the man of the match with those 2 goals. Álvaro Fernández in goal for Sevilla with Carmona had a weak game. Vade Gudel, I really liked him. And Quique Salas, who, it's true, slipped in for the winning goal for Atlético de Madrid against Antoine Griezmann, but he had a really good game because he provided 2 assists and he had to defend the left side without being a fullback since he's not a pure fullback. Salas had to defend the left side and also had to deal with Simeone and Llorente when they came down that area and still managed to defend that left side quite well and provide 2 assists because 2 of Sevilla's goals came from his passes. So really a great match from Quique Salas. Su and Agume, double pivot with Juanlu in the middle, Lukebakio, who I really liked on the left, Peque sometimes also in the middle. Lukebakio on the right, Peque on the left, and up front, the hard worker Isaac Romero, who scored, well, I don't know if it's his first goal, but he's definitely scored very few goals this season so far, and he scored one of Sevilla's goals. A play where I think Oblak could do a bit more. I think he could do a bit more in the match. It was a beautiful match, really. It was a beautiful match. Here we have Rodrigo de Paul, who I really liked in the first half. He scored the first goal with a ball he recovered through his pressing, a good press. Atlético de Madrid came out really well to press Sevilla's build-up. They recovered a good ball with the pressure and unleashed that strike. Usand, it's true that he gets a bit tangled up. I think it's Lukebakio. He gets a bit mixed up at the edge of the area, but still, it's a great goal that De Paul scores with that shot. But Sevilla suddenly started to gain some control in midfield, and it's true that Sevilla had a really good first half because they had phases of good control in midfield. They clearly had those phases, and above all, they threatened a lot on the counter, almost permanently. It's also true that Sevilla had maximum efficiency because I think they had 3 shots, and we'll see that later with flash score. 3 shots on target, and all 3 were goals. Maximum efficiency. But it's true that Sevilla threatened on the counter, and in the first half, it felt like they could cause some damage. And in fact, he caused some trouble with a good Lukebakio, with some really good switches of play from Gudel, who I really liked, by the way, in this match. This is the man of the match for Sevilla, no doubt about it. Goal by Lukebakio, and Quique Salas did really well too. And it became March 1st. And at that moment, I asked on Cope during the game if Cholo would be okay with a 3-3 draw when it was March 1st. Shortly after, he scored on March 2nd, and from there, logically, the story was over. The 12 was a great pass from Barrios. Why was I saying that Pablo Barrio was having a hard time getting into the game? Because when the pace of the game is really high, and it clearly was, a player like Pablo Barrios struggles. The game was kind of going over him. But suddenly, I think Sevilla's defense with March 1st pushed their lineup too much and left Antoine Griezmann too comfortable for the pass. And from there came Barrios' pass, Griezmann's control with his left foot, and the shot with his right. Well, he's a player with a quality that's a spectacle. Then what he scored with his left foot was amazing. But like I said, it was a really good first half for Pablo Barrios and a really good first half in many aspects for Sevilla as well. Sorry, really good. First half from Sevilla and a really good first half from De Paul. I meant Pablo Barrios, the second half. And I tell you, it didn't seem like that much. Cholo had no choice but to start making substitutions in the second half. And he made the changes. I thought he was going to take out Julián Alvarez instead of Javi Galán. I thought he would take out Javi Galán and put Lino in as a fullback to push forward permanently, to take on a risk, almost an extreme risk. But he didn't do it. He brought in Lino, played a lot through the middle, scored the equalizer to make it 3-3. And from there, it was practically impossible for Sevilla to hold on because they were all back. They switched to defend with 3 center-backs. By the way, when Solo came on, he had 2 clear chances. The first one, it's true that he has a defender really getting in his way. He shoots as best as he can towards Alvaro. But the second one is a very serious mistake by Sorloth. I mentioned it on Cope during the broadcast. While it's true that the first one is a play where I think the defender is really blocking his shot well, the second one is a shot where he's all alone and he just hits it straight at the keeper. I think it's a very serious mistake by Sorloth. Sevilla clearly saw it. And logically they brought in another centre-back to try to defend against the crosses because Atlético started sending in lateral balls. And it's true that the goal came from a play inside, a cross from the middle, exactly a lateral cross, just when Sevilla was starting to defend those kinds of balls better. Because Sorlo, after that second header he had, pretty much disappeared from the game. And it's true that the goal came from a play inside, a cross from the middle, exactly a lateral cross, just when Sevilla was starting to defend those kinds of balls better. Because Sorlo, after that second header he had, pretty much disappeared from the game. Was Atlético de Madrid's victory fair? Well, in my opinion, yes. Here we have, by the way, Isa Romero after scoring his goal. In my opinion, yes, Atlético de Madrid's victory was fair. Sevilla ended up very far back, really, really far back. Atlético pushed hard. They created an avalanche of chances, one after another. In the end, Alvaro saved those 2 shots from Sorlos, and Correa's entrance also did a lot of damage. And I think that in the end, Sevilla had no way to stop Atlético de Madrid's onslaught, and they held on as long as they could. But the goal came with 6 minutes left in stoppage time. I mean, I think it was really, really difficult because they had already lost the ability to counterattack. When you lose the ability to counterattack and you lose the threat, you practically lose everything. And from there, by the way, Saúl came on. And he was really applauded by the Atlético de Madrid fans. Well, a great memory at Atlético de Madrid. Saúl played for a few minutes, got a yellow card for a pretty tough tackle. But in the end, I think Atlético's victory was fair. And this team right now, honestly, seems unstoppable. They have 2 matches now that in theory they should win. Slovan Bratislava in the Champions League and then Getafe at home. Bordala is really bad at Atlético de Madrid, and then he has that game against Barça in Barcelona, which could be a game to even jump over the top spot. We'll see what happens with Real Madrid, but the 3 of them are really close, and Atlético de Madrid and Real Madrid have 1 game less. In other words, watch out for how the championship is shaping up. Atlético de Madrid has entered the title race. It seemed very difficult, I have to say. It seemed very difficult for them to get in, but they have entered the title race and won an epic match. If we're going to win, the best way to win is this. If we're going to win, I have no doubt that this is the best way to do it. Let's wrap up the video by checking out some details with the guys from Flash Score, because it's true that it wasn't exactly an avalanche of shots from Atlético de Madrid. There were 14 shots, but 9 on target. It's fine. But the feeling is that Sevilla was probably more overwhelmed. I insist, for me, Atlético de Madrid's victory is totally fair. Sevilla had some better moments. I think Sevilla is missing players, and they clearly didn't have much more to offer. This Atlético team right now seems unstoppable, especially after today's match. They have already come back in 3 league matches at the Metropolitano against Deportivo, against Leganés, and today. And it's true that today was the hardest one to turn around because it's March 1st, but they managed to do it anyway. A hug. Bye, 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 bye.